Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining our very first digital discussion of 2024. This morning, we are gathered to discuss closing the digital divide with our fellow peers in the community. I'm Naomi Guevara, the Development Coordinator here at Inspiredu, filling in for our amazing Director of Development, Carmen Saladin, who's feeling a little under the weather. Today, we are joined by Ms. Tamara Lopata, who is the Client Engagement Executive at Highlane and an incredible advocate for not just InspireEDU, but many other organizations in the digital equity space. Tamara, thank you so much for being here and for your work that has helped InspireEDU bridge the digital divide for a number of years now. Can you tell our audience just a little bit about yourself and your role with Highlane?
Sure. And first of all, thank you for inviting me to speak today. And yes, I am definitely a passionate advocate for Inspire EDU and a lot of the local nonprofits. Currently, I'm with an organization called Highlane. We are an IT consulting company. We actually launched in Atlanta 3 years ago. So that's when I joined. And one of the reasons I was excited to join Highlane is their passion giving back to the community. And over the past 15 plus years, I've been very involved in Atlanta with organizations such as Women in Technology and Tech Bridge. IT Girls, lots of different organizations that are supporting youth really developing themselves to prepare to for careers in STEM and whatnot, and being able to be part of Highlane now and sponsor organizations like this and give up my time and my talent and my treasure has just been a blessing.
That's incredible. And it absolutely has been a blessing. We're so lucky to have you. For those of you who don't know Tamara, please take a moment to connect. She is a beacon within our community, working to connect people and resource to affect change. And I'm not just saying that because we love her. She was actually awarded the ATP Connector Award for being that conduit to help others expand themselves, both professionally and personally. So a great big congratulations to you on your admirable work, Tamara. Again, I cannot stress how lucky we are to have you. When it comes to supporting nonprofits, how important is it for Highlane to do so?
Oh, very much so. Since Highlane started 6 years ago, they've been I keep saying we have been very involved in the community in Charlotte, where we're headquartered. We support a nonprofit there called Aparo, which is similar to Tech Bridge in a way. They leverage, Adam Boitnott actually is the chair of the Aparo board this year. So we are very involved with that. We do tons of projects for local nonprofits. We've done a project here in Atlanta through Aparo for Bearings Bike Works. So it's fun for me to get to work with my teammates here on, serving a nonprofit, just as we've done for Inspire EDU, helping clean laptops and do things like that. So it's just I think Highlane, that's part of our DNA, is giving back. And that's one of the reasons I chose to join this organization.
And I love that. I love the emphasis on fun. I mean, we do have a lot of fun when we do this good work and we're able to see the efforts of our labor out in the community and the smiling faces. I know that I've witnessed those efforts firsthand. Highlane has supported Inspire EDU through every avenue of engagement that we have to offer. And you've actually experienced the entire life cycle of a laptop at Inspire EDU, from the time it comes through our doors to handing it directly into the hands of our families. Can you share what that's been like for you?
Yeah, it's been great. So I came in on a volunteer effort. First of all, you guys gather the laptops. We get all the little tools and we clean them, make sure that everything looks good. Then somebody else takes them, make sure everything is working, put in the software. Then the next thing I was involved in, I came in one day for a volunteer event with Atlanta technology professionals where we stuffed backpacks with laptops and school supplies and things like that. So that was really fun. Then the next opportunity I had was when we participated with the Amazing Race, what a great event that is. But part of it, you load everybody's vehicles with, I don't know, 25, 30 more laptops in backpacks. And we, as part of the race, we deliver them to one of the community organizations that you partner with. So I got to see that. And then last year, I actually got to be involved on a Saturday, hanging out at one of the community organizations where the parents and students were coming by to pick up their laptops and their backpacks with all their school supplies. So it was really cool to see that whole life cycle, as you say. And it's just so rewarding. And I think that's one reason I'm such a passionate advocate, is because I've seen it and experienced it, and I know the impact that it's having.
I love that you say that, and I love that you're able to say that you have joined us in our boots to the ground effort to actually put these hands into the device, into the families who we serve. It's not every day that corporate gets to meet community, and so through the amazing race, we are able to bridge that gap, and it really just shake hands and get to know the families that we serve, and bringing you into support that has been invaluable to our expansion and our efforts. And I know that other nonprofits look to us for that kind of guidance on how to engage in our community. And you do it so well. I can't say how much, I can't stress enough how much I appreciate you. I have a question about Highland's mission and when it comes to supporting digital equity
Mhm.
specifically. What is that? What is that like for Highland?
So I think, we as a company and as part of the technology community recognize that we have to keep growing our pipeline of, students that are interested in participating in STEM and, technology careers. So whatever we can do to encourage them to love it. First of all, have the right tools so that they can learn, and then continue to grow up as they're growing as students, to continue to stay interested and involved, with organizations like, Inspire Edu. You're right there at the beginning with these students, getting them engaged with their laptops. And then there's organizations like, Women in Technology that work with kids in middle school and high school, and, keep them going into college. And then, you've got organizations such as Year Up that work with, young people to train them up in, software and different things that they can use as their skill development to be part of the IT community. So we see that as a tremendous role that Highlane and other organizations can play in creating that pipeline.
Absolutely. And I feel like you really nail it when you mention creating those experiences and opportunities. That's something that means a lot to us. And as you know, Inspiredu strives to be the digital equity leader within Atlanta. And we're dedicated to filling in gaps in digital equity by providing training and devices to serve to sort of level the playing field. It's not just handing out a laptop for us. It's we are able to equip and empower our community to put that tool to use and really elevate themselves in this world of technology that isn't slowing down anytime soon. It's really important for us to be within those spaces and support other organizations who are doing the same, because we can't do it all. We can't, as much as we would love to be the ones who serviced all of Georgia. We're not able to do that, but we are able to expand by networking and helping others help us
Mhm.
reach the same mission. So, how would other companies be able to embrace the importance of supporting a nonprofit that supports digital equity?
So, first of all, just do a little bit of research and find a nonprofit whose mission you believe in. I mean, one of the things that I love to do is introduce people to Inspire EDU or Women in Technology, and just come to an event, first of all, and then volunteer. And once you volunteer, you get in there, you roll up your sleeves, you're working side by side, both with other volunteers as well as staff from the nonprofit. You really start to see the passion that people have, and you start to hear stories of the impact. And I think it touches you as a person, And then you can take that message back to your organization and say, look at what I found here. Let's go check out this organization, because it benefits your team as well. So you can get in there. I love, you guys do so many great team building activities. So I think if an organization is just looking for a team building activity, they may fall into the volunteer, service part, but just great team building activities to start with, even just to come out and, do something for the community.
Right. And that's exactly what I say. I mean, if I want anyone to become involved with Inspire EDU, I say it really starts in coming through the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Our doors are always open. You see that this is our home away from home, and we welcome visitors, and bring a friend. I would always say, don't keep it as your own little gem. Be able to help us spread the joy and the outreach by bringing someone new into the conversation and into our volunteer and training center. Get engaged, stay activated within your community, and you'll see the outcomes of all of those efforts. So for those of you who are just joining us, I am here this morning having a wonderful discussion with Miss Tamara Lopata from High Lane. We are talking about supporting nonprofits within the digital equity space and the value that it brings to our community, and how you can be a conduit to helping those efforts. So Tamara, I wanted to ask you, what what is your favorite memory in getting engaged with Inspire EDU and our events? Because you've helped on so many levels, but we've had events that help spread the word on what it is that we do. And I'm curious to know what really touched your heart in terms of what we've done in the last year.
So probably a couple of things. So this past year's gala was a wonderful experience at the Illuminarium. It was just beautifully done. But I think the thing there that touched me the most was the grandmother and her two grandchildren that she has helped raising, and how she got them involved through Inspire EDU and their school, and the impact that it's having on their entire family. And just hearing her story and seeing those kids, I love that. And it really touched my heart, because you can see that that's the impact. And that's why we do all this. It's not for us, it's for them, and the difference that we can make in their lives going forward. And then the other thing that I found so interesting is the Amazing Race. And, part of it's a real challenge. The clues this year were very cryptic, I might add. But the opportunity to go around the city and visit different communities, community centers, and different schools that you guys support, that was really interesting to me, because there's so many neighborhood organizations that I was not aware of that you support. So that was very interesting as well.
That's right. We have a huge emphasis on our programs and partnerships, and for being able to put together the Amazing Race and introduce corporate to community. It's something that we take pride in. We do it. We've had 3 now this year. This will be our 4th in 2024, and I know we'll see you again, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm a glutton. We won the first year, but it's gotten a lot harder now.
It's getting competitive. We couldn't make it too easy. You all were brilliant the first time around, and I do want to wait for your next victory. That was the Owens family that you were mentioning at our Inspire Gala, and you're so right. It just amplifies like what it is that we actually do, and really brings to life the mission. When we have events like the Inspire Gala, and we have the Family of the Year come up and speak and just talk about how our work is not just handing out a device, it's changing people's lives. And you were a part of that. And that's why we love you so much, because you help us serve. And when it comes to other organizations and being able to help serve, what would you say is the most valuable thing that they can do? Would it be like networking, or what's the best way to start that, get that ball rolling, to get the mission out there?
This is for
For
nonprofits.
any nonprofit, like
I think,
So
yeah, part of it, people a lot of times just aren't aware of that the nonprofit exists and what their mission is. So if they can find avenues to get involved in, like in technology, for example, go to an, Atlanta Technology Professionals, an ATP event, or a Women in Technology event, or, a SIM, Society for Information Management, or TAG or TechBridge, to get out there and just introduce themselves to some people to start, opening some doors. Or, I mean, my goodness, Inspire EDU has so much support from the tech community. If they can come out to an Inspire EDU event and meet some people and just share their mission, I think that will be a great start to getting more people engaged with their organization as well.
right, you are the people connector. So
I can't.
from a professional, how do we navigate that for them? How does connecting with somebody start off? Is it just a handshake, walk into a room? I mean, what does that look like for
Yeah,
somebody who might be timid like myself or anyone else?
sure. Part of the thing that I tell people that really launched me was Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And there are just some really simple tips about just how to have a conversation with somebody and be genuinely interested in them. Don't go into it with an agenda of, I've got to make sure they know this about me and they want to do this and blah, blah, blah. But just ask them questions about themselves, what their interests are. And when you really connect with somebody on that sincere, genuine level, they're interested in you as well. And they're going to want to know about you and where you work, what you do, and then you can start to share your passion for that. And it comes across as a sincere conversation, not you're trying to sell them or get them engaged, with your nonprofit. That's the approach that I take, and it's worked really well for me, and I've built wonderful relationships in the community
Yeah, I
using
love
those
that.
techniques.
I mean, it sounds simple. You do it with ease, and you're right. It's all about nurturing those relationships and really just putting yourself out there, just because people genuinely do take an interest in what you do, especially when it comes to organizations that are in service.
Hmm.
It's kind of an easy conversation starter, I think. But I'm a little curious more to know more about the other organizations that you're involved in, as well as Inspiredu, because we are a community. And how did you find them? And what would you like to share about that?
Sure. So I actually got my start in the IT community with Women in Technology back, gosh, 15 plus years ago. I just started going to their events and they invited me to become the programs chair. So I started bringing in the speakers and just really loved it and started building connections there. I started volunteering with TAG and then with TechBridge. I was a volunteer at the Digital Ball, and I ultimately started working with TechBridge and started to build a lot of connections within the corporate technology community. And then I went from there to the Georgia CIO Leadership Association as executive director and was able to build more connections there. And I've been able to now leverage a lot of those relationships to introduce a lot of the IT community to nonprofits like Women in Technology and TechBridge. And then now there's one that I've started volunteering with recently called It Girls that Grant Shee and Roxanne Seymour, two local CIOs, started a few years ago. And they work with girls in fourth and fifth grade in some elementary schools, introducing them to STEM activities, I think it's once a month or something like that. So I go and, volunteer with them in early morning, donuts and, juice. And we build some cool, toys or things that really start to teach them the thought processes in, STEM. So there's so many ways to get involved.
There really are. And I love that you mentioned a lot of our great friends. I mean, those are all organizations that are great friends of Inspiredu. I mean, we don't do this work alone. I mean, we target digital equity and creating opportunities as a community, as a whole. We all work together, and it's great to see that just because you support Inspiredu doesn't mean that you can't support somebody else. You can get in everywhere. There's room for everybody at the table, and I love that you bring that out. And it's something to also put out to everyone else that join more than one force. It's
Definitely.
important because it all serves one cause. I mean, we are in this community together, and we are bridging the digital divide together. We can't do it alone.
Exactly.
So, Tamara, I don't know if you know this, but my family was uh, Family of the Year in 2020. One of them.
Congratulations.
So,
No.
thank you. And I share that to say that I am testimony to the work that we do. Everything that you have put into supporting Inspiredu and organizations like Inspiredu um, serve a higher purpose and are life changing. I was able to go back to school and get my college degree. And Carmen is the one who found me and brought me on board and made me a development coordinator. And I just love being here. And being here gives me the opportunity to pay it forward. So I feel that when you've been blessed with a gift, like organizations like Inspiredu has been able to bless my family, I'm able to now pay it forward and continue the work. And you mentioned passion in the very beginning, and it really is a work of passion. We all love what we do, and we love the communities that we serve.
I love that, Naomi. I did not know that you were the family of the year. So that's amazing. I love hearing your story.
Thank you. I love sharing it because, some people wonder, what is it that
Mhm.
we're doing and is it actually working? And I could tell you, yes, it is. Absolutely. And it's important to be able to create opportunities and to level the playing field. My son himself he's in college with his Inspire EDU laptop. He goes to Georgia Tech and he wears an Inspire EDU shirt because he's proud of where he came from as well. So it really it really serves to the work that we do to have the support of people like you and anyone who is interested. I mean, you can help in little ways, like coming in and being a part of, one of our volunteer days or our volunteer efforts that helps get our refurbished items out into the community. And you can also help by supporting through a sponsorship or donations. Um, but there's more than one way to help, and there's more than one way to engage.
One of the things that I like to do beyond just, Highline sponsoring various events, I like to introduce other organizations to Inspire EDU or Women in Technology. I've done some breakfasts with your CEO, Richard Hicks, who I love, who is an amazing evangelist. But I'll invite a few CIOs that I know who aren't familiar with Inspire EDU just to come and have breakfast with us so that Richard can talk to them more about the mission, how they can get involved both with volunteers from their teams as well as donating hardware. Another opportunity, I think I was talking with Carmen and Richard that you were looking to expand into Savannah. And I have a relationship with the CIO for Gulfstream there. And so you needed volunteers for an event you were doing. So I reached out to her, and they already have volunteer teams that do things in the area. And she was happy to connect you with the volunteer coordinator there. And I think you can talk more about it, but I think
Yeah.
that's been really successful.
It,
So there's lots of creative ways that don't necessarily involve money that you can do to help support the nonprofits and their mission.
right. And it's great that you mentioned that because Gulfstream did have a conversation with us yesterday and they are getting involved. And then it also serves a higher purpose because that what some people might think is a small gesture of just introduction turned into us expanding our network, being able to say that we don't just service Atlanta anymore. We're going to start expanding and servicing all of Georgia because we're reaching out into Savannah. So that's really important that you're able to connect the dots and put us in front of people who share the same passion for serving community.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think that's something that I would challenge other people to do is just think of who you know that may not know about, Inspire EDU or another nonprofit that you're passionate about. And just, share the story or invite, the CEO or executive director of that nonprofit to, breakfast with you and this person or a couple of people, and just start spreading the word. That's what we
Right.
have to do.
A cup of coffee can go a long way.
Sure can.
Well, I really do appreciate this conversation. Can you think of anything that you think that anyone might want to know about Inspiredu that we haven't talked about today?
Um, I think, let me think. The
'Cause
people, if you're not involved with Inspire EDU yet, just go there and just meet the people. And again, the passion is infectious. You will just, you'll feel like you're part of the family immediately, and you'll start to hear stories about the impact that you guys are having. And one of the things that I really love is how inclusive you are for the entire community. And this is not just about, what's going to benefit Inspire EDU, but it's what's going to benefit the community, and how can you connect with other nonprofits so that, all boats rise,
Right.
together. So that's the approach that you take. And I think that's so important. And I think that makes it easier for people like me and Highlane to support you, because we don't feel like we're trying to pick one organization. We can support many organizations, and we're supporting all the same, type missions. And that's what's so important, because as a whole, we are improving our city, we're improving our state, and we're improving the lives of all of these families that, these missions are touching. So that's the biggest thing is, that story about the guy on the beach, throwing the starfish back. Do you know the one I'm talking about? There were all these starfish on the beach, and he was walking, and he would pick one up and throw it. And somebody said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I'm throwing the starfish back in the ocean to save it." And he goes, "There's hundreds and thousands of starfish. You're never going to be able to help them all." And he goes, "That's okay." Throws one in. I helped that one, and that's all we can
Love that.
do. There's so much need, but we can do something to make a difference. And so we just all need to start somewhere.
Tamara, that is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that story. I love that. I'm going to go ahead and use that in my daily life because I mean it is true. I mean we focus on the people that we are able to help, and then we'll just keep doing the work. And like you said, it doesn't have to be just one organization. We have over 40 community based organizations that we work with. A lot of the ones that you're already involved with, you've mentioned, are friends of ours, people that we mingle with on a regular basis. I mean, we see these people a couple times a week sometimes. So I can't stress enough that the work is the workload is huge, but we as a unit can tackle it easily just by bringing a friend, just by talking about it. Conversations like this is what helps to move these efforts forward.
Exactly. And a lot of people ask me, how I built my network, and it's through volunteering. So just, if you're interested, if you want to get to know people, just volunteer somewhere, get in there, roll up your sleeves, start working with them. They'll get to know you, you'll get to know them, they'll see the kind of person you are. And if you're in business development like I am, at some point you'll talk about business, but don't go in there with the intention of, I've got to, get business from this volunteer
Right.
opportunity. You're going in there because you want to make a difference. And that's how you're going to build your network. Just be genuine, be passionate, and care.
That's right. Just care.
Mhm.
It's really that simple. And I really do appreciate that you sharing your wisdom with us. And I want to thank you really from the bottom of my heart from all of us on behalf of Inspiring You. Thank you for the work that you're doing in the community. Please remember to pay it forward, everyone who's listening today. Um, and thank you all for joining us. If you would like to hear more conversations like this one, just be on the lookout. We are having an upcoming town hall in February. That's going to be February 29th. And if you're interested in Inspire EDU and the work that we do, you can visit our website at iuatl.org. There's so much more to learn about us. There's so much more conversation to be had, and we'll be having more of these throughout the year. But we thank you for being here. It's been an amazing morning. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Highlane, and thank you everyone for spending some time with us this morning.
Yeah, thank you. And please reach out to me on LinkedIn, anybody that's listening that would like to connect. And I'm happy to share, what I can with you about the community and how to get involved.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
This is great. I loved it.